Okay, so we're live now.
Okay. It still says pre-live for me, but I'm going to have faith. All right, we're live. Perfect. Thank you, Japhlet. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the kickoff session for the Mixed Reality Bootcamp. I'm so excited about this bootcamp. I've been looking forward to it since last year. Because I think it's the first time that we're doing something that is purely mixed reality. And that's really exciting that we have so many people interested and hope I can see myself on your screen. And I'm grateful to everybody that applied, and thank you for being here. I'm just going to do a real quick rundown about what you should expect today. So we're going to have really amazing people coming to talk to you about just broadly what mixed reality is, what we're doing with it, but also about things like what the other events are doing on the continent are, and to talk to you about the Max Learn Student Ambassador Program itself. Um, so, if after this program you're interested in joining the party of amazing people that make programs like this possible, then you can apply and you're welcome. I'm going to keep this short because we have a packed agenda. I can hear you.
Kendra, are you saying you can hear my audio?
I don't know. I can hear myself. Anyway, I'm going to go on mute now because you're getting here to speak. But first of amazing people we have today is one of my favorite people, Somuah, who runs Mixed Reality Engineering team in Lagos. He is just a brilliant engineer and a great leader, and probably the only person I know that's more excited about mixed reality than I am. And I'm talk to you about some things that are possible with mixed reality. Take it away. You are on mute.
Oh, I thought I had just unmuted myself, but hopefully folks can hear me now and see me. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start presenting my screen. And Kendra, I trust you. Let me know if I suddenly am not, if folks can't see what I'm presenting. Fantastic. So, welcome everyone to our Mixed Reality Bootcamp kickoff. I'm so excited to finally get this underway here. I've been in, had this Mixed Reality team in Nigeria for about a year and a half, but I've been telling Kendra for no less than a year that we really need to start engaging with folks. I'm so excited at the idea of having a very large number of people get interested and involved in what I consider to be the future of computing pieces of technology. So to kick things off, I thought I'd start by telling folks a little bit about me. I know there's at least one person on the call who has no idea who they're talking to, and they're like, who's this guy just opening his mouth? So let me, if you'll indulge me, let me spend a little bit of time telling you why I think this is so cool and awesome. So a bit about me is that I have, let's see, come on. Yeah, I'm a principal software engineering manager at Microsoft. I did a summer internship a long time ago, and I've been working at Microsoft as a full-time engineer for about 17 years. I think the actual 17-year mark is either this June. Anyway, I went to Stanford, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second because that's where I got my passion for the space that I'm in, or at least the drive that I believe I want to have as I'm contributing to the tech community started there. And then I joined Microsoft, and I worked on an early product called WCF. I worked on Xbox Live and the Zune Music Services. I worked on a project called Oslo that never actually was seen in its incarnation. It's the work we did has gone into things like Excel, Power Query, and some other stuff. I worked on a project called Elias, which I'm not going to give more details about than that. Suffice it to say, my work there led me to going to work at 343 Industries, which is a group within Microsoft that owns the Xbox title Halo. So I spent some time working as the cloud services architect on Halo, and that was really exciting stuff. But then I did a bunch of other things, technical advisor to the CEO, And now virtual agents was something that I worked on a little bit. So if you've ever heard of Power Virtual Agents, I worked on that team for a bit. And then finally, I found myself with the opportunity to come to Nigeria and work on building a team that's going to focus on mixed reality cloud services and making mixed reality more accessible to a large number of folks. So why do I think that is cool, and why did I get up after working on Microsoft for such a long time now? Obviously, I could start with the explanation of how I think the continent is the future, and everyone in the world should be paying attention to this continent, considering things like our median age and how many incredible engineers there are here. But beyond that, having grown up here, I grew up in Ghana, I've seen what technology can do to change things. Even in the brief span of time that technology has become a hot topic across this continent, you can see how it's changed lives, it's made folks more productive, it's empowered communication. There's many reasons to love what it does, and many reasons to also be a little conscious of what we do with it. But for me, my whole thing and interest in what I'm doing now, I can trace back to when I was in college. Um, I acquired this poster, and the elderly gentleman in the picture is Douglas Engelbart. Doug Engelbart is known around the world for being the creator of the mouse. He did many other things. He also gave the first demo of a graphical user interface. Anyway, when I was in college, he was coming. It was the 30th anniversary of the mouse, and I heard Doug Engelbart was coming. Me, I didn't know who he was. But what happened was my roommate was a huge fan of his, and my roommate was like, "How do you not know who Doug Engelbart is? Are you even interested in computer science?" I was like, "Wait, let me go and read small." I went and learned about this man, and I actually had the crazy opportunity to help him with some PowerPoint slides he was making. That was me helping the person who invented the computer mouse with PowerPoint. It was mind-boggling. But he gave me this poster after, and the thing that stood out to me was the statement that he made when he first made the mouse, which is to improve our collective ability to solve the world's problems, we must harness the immense promise and power of technology. So you can't see it, but those words are up on that poster. And when he was asked to commemorate the 30-year anniversary of the mouse, he added another statement to that, which is, actually, you can see it in the picture, the mouse is just the first step. I changed that to the mouse was just the first step. Doug Engelbart has since passed on, but this is a picture of the first computer mouse ever. It didn't have a trackball like a lot of the mouses decades ago. It didn't have the fancy laser light stuff that mouse have under them. It had a wheel. It had a single button. And you know that someone was just carving that piece of wood to make all this electronics work. But that is the foundation of graphical user interfaces. And most importantly to me, computers that are easier to use. I don't know how many of you have used a computer where you just have access to a keyboard and a terminal. Before we had graphical user interfaces, computers were not as easy to use. They were not as accessible. That has changed, and the mouse was the first step. The question for me has always been, what is the next step? What is the next thing that we are going to do with technology to continue to enhance our power to use it as a tool for public good, a tool for improving conditions around the world, and for making folks more productive? When I think about that, and I think about the entire world today, one of my favorite books I've read in recent times is Hit Reset by Satya Nadella, our CEO. And he talks about 3 pieces of technology that he thinks are really, really critical for us and for the world moving forward. And one of them is mixed reality. The two others that he talks about are AI and quantum computing, and I could go on about those too. But mixed reality is an important space for me, particularly because my team works on it. And in the mixed reality space, the opportunities are, we're talking about a computer that is unlike any computer that has ever been created. A computer that you can put on your head that understands the world around you. It knows what you're looking at, it knows what you're touching, and it's able to help you with work in a way that is far beyond what any computer before it could do. This is why I think that mixed reality is the next step, at least based on where we are today with compute power, with computers, and things that we can do. And so I'm really excited about the opportunity to have that capability, that opportunity also be here for us. And everyone here is going to, hopefully over the next couple of weeks, get a lot of experience in what it means to build experiences and applications that have access to this next generation computation technology. We're moving from a world where computers took all of their input from a keyboard and a mouse to where the computer can actually see the world around you, recognize things in the world around you, and give you intuitive help as you're doing things. That, in my mind, is the next generation of compute. And the things that we're doing with mixed reality across the board, whether it's in the cloud or the device, this amazing device, the HoloLens, they're all part of it. Now, some folks have seen this video before, but I always play it because the HoloLens 2 is in my mind, and arguably in many folks' minds, the most cutting edge of these types of applications. And so I'm going to play a quick video that talks about the introduction to the HoloLens. And it's very quick, so I know some folks have already watched it, but it won't be too long. Sorry.
I don't think we have any audio. Is
Oh,
that
audio's not coming? Give me a second.
no.
Yeah, audio isn't coming through.
Let me reshare, make sure I clicked the button that shares audio. Okay, let's try again. Blue computer sound. Let's try that again.
Yeah, we have audio now.
Yes.
Sorry, give me 1 second. I just realized I need to. Wow, okay. I'm not sure what's going on. All right, that video seriously never gets old for me, and I don't think it ever will. So this device on my head here, this is the HoloLens. That device that's doing all that amazing stuff in the video. If I get it working here, I'm going to show a brief demo of what the HoloLens can do. But before we do that, let's go on and let me talk a little bit more about why I think this is an incredible device. So I talked a little bit before about the idea that the HoloLens as a next generation computer allows us to mix reality with the virtual world. And in my mind, this allows us to put humans at the center of the computing experience. I am no longer working to understand how to talk to a computer. The computer is understanding how to talk to me. The HoloLens is all about voice input, all about knowing what I'm looking at, and all about being a much more intuitive computing device. And I think that's an incredible thing that we can do with it. And in just a short time since we've released the HoloLens, it's actually had a pretty tremendous amount of impact on the world. And so this next video is going to talk a little bit, show a little bit of customers who are using HoloLens and things that they're using it for. I think that's a pretty cool video too. Now, let's see if this is working. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my screen again. And I'm showing up as blank. Can anyone see me?
I cannot.
Yet.
No.
Well, hopefully that's not going to be a problem. I'm going to go ahead and maybe it'll fix if I go to the next screen. The next slide is not loading. So hopefully through those two videos and what I've been saying, and if you've read anything online, you've already got a pretty good idea of what the HoloLens is and what mixed reality is all about. It's really about figuring out how to get ourselves into a position with our computers where we can all be collaborating in the world around us. So I'm going to see if I can share not my actual window here, but this window that I have in front of me. Can folks still see the projection?
Yeah.
Okay. So this window in front of me, I'm actually connected to the HoloLens that is on my head. And if you could see my, let me refresh because it looks like it doesn't feel like it's connected to the HoloLens yet. If you could see my head, then as I was moving my head around, you'd be able to see, can folks see a little green thing, that the ball that's representing my head and the thing that's moving around? That's what happens as I'm moving my head around, because the HoloLens is basically tracking the room around me, and as I move my head, it can detect that I'm moving my head, and it needs this in order to be able to adjust the things that I'm seeing. So now I'm going to go to the mixed reality capture window here for a second and lower the bandwidth so that we know it doesn't affect too much. And then now you can see what I'm seeing a little bit more. I should probably turn off the audio capture there. Okay. So there's a little bit of a delay, and it kind of looks weird when I'm looking at that same screen. But hopefully, folks can also see this hologram right in front of me, and this other hologram right in front of me. And this is what I'm seeing through the HoloLens device that I'm wearing on my head. And over the next couple weeks, I believe, Kendra, we're going to have folks who will go into more depth on MRTK. What I thought I would do was, let me go full screen. So now in front of me, I have a bunch of holograms of things that I can play around with if I want to like understand more about the HoloLens's capabilities. So let's go, and hopefully you can also see my hand. I'm going to, and this shows the HoloLens's hand tracking right here. It can see my hands, it can tell what my fingers are doing. And so it knows when I go and I touch that hologram, that's the new mouse click. And in a couple of seconds, around me, you'll see a whole different set of things. Ooh, cheese. Don't mind if I do. Here we have a piano right in front of me. Nobody heard anything, did they?
No, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear. Yeah.
Can you hear the piano?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, loud and clear.
So when I play this piano, it's actually knowing. So that's the piano actually understanding what I'm doing. I can push these buttons. My favorite part about this app, and by the way, this is an open source application, so anybody who is playing around with a mixed reality can go and see the source code to this and figure out how all of these things were built. And in this space over here, everything is, there's gravity, so when I pick things up, no, my coffee cup is now knocked down. Another thing that the HoloLens allows you to do is reach things from far away. If I just point, not only can it see what I'm pointing at, I can now pick things by pointing at them. Bring them closer to me. transfer them to another hand, and do all kinds of other things, and then drop them. Now, I dropped it and it stopped at the table. Wonder if I drop it over here, now on the floor, because it understands gravity. Anyway, this is just a small subset of some of the cool things that you can do with the HoloLens that allow us to build really immersive applications. MRTK is an application framework or a set of Unity prefabs that makes it really easy for folks who want to get started with mixed reality. And I'm really excited about the prospect of seeing what folks here are able to do. I'm going to end this thing because I know it's getting kind of trippy to see the mixed reality on top of my monitor. So I'm gonna bring up my home, go back to the home to exit that app. And let's go back to PowerPoint. So it's not too hard to imagine all the kinds of incredible things that one can do, and seeing what the HoloLens can do. This building that you see a bunch of folks surrounding in this picture, well, that could be folks designing a building, folks repairing a building, whatever the actual needs of the environment are. The HoloLens, in my opinion, is one of the most important next generation computing devices to allow us to achieve the things that we're trying to achieve. 1 second, I'm going to see if my video is going to work now. We are back. And so another example here that I wanted to call out because I really love this app is things like, another area of application that I think is really cool with the HoloLens is education. I know that as part of COVID, a number of educational institutions have started using HoloLenses to remote teach students. I think Case Western sent HoloLenses to their medical students so students could still be in class, and they've been experimenting with using mixed reality for teaching for a while. Imagine being in biology class and being able to see the human heart floating in the air right in front of you, or be able to bring up a human skeleton right in front of you as you're learning about the bones. These are really, really compelling ways to infuse folks with knowledge in a way that is much, I mean, personally, I'm a very visual person, and so I understand things better when I can see them. So my favorite example of this is this open source, again, an open source application of the periodic table. And you can actually touch it and it will show you the atomic structure of all of the elements, and you can like rotate them and look real close at them. And personally, I think this is much more valuable than a single app-based model. Certainly, if I open up an app that has a periodic table, that's nice, but this is much more immersive when you're trying to learn things. And for visual folks, that's going to be important. But another interesting aspect of this is maybe not when you're learning the periodic table, but because your job involves you fixing elevators or climbing up to a tall tower to repair a cell phone tower. A lot of those jobs, folks can't use a keyboard and mouse today. This power of computing is going to change that and make it possible for them to use computers while on the job. There's tons of examples of that. I'll leave it as an exercise to those interested to go find those videos and watch them. I promise no more videos today. And one of the last aspects of this that I want to talk about is what my team does here. A lot of the things we're doing here in Nigeria is we're spending time exploring the different ways that a cloud platform can help us with this mixed reality journey that we're on, with defining this next generation of compute. One of the most compelling ways is in making it, well, obviously a lot of the power of the cloud comes from allowing folks to communicate better. Being able to make a Teams call to someone. We have an app called Remote Assist where you're wearing a HoloLens. You can call one of your coworkers who's back at the office, and they can see the same thing that you're looking at. So if someone's in the field repairing something, they can now call in someone in the office who's an expert on the piece of equipment, or someone anywhere in the world for that matter. If you're out in the field trying to repair some fancy equipment, imagine being able to have someone who's an expert in that specific piece of equipment suddenly drop in on a phone call with you, see exactly what you're seeing. They can actually click on things and you'll see what they're clicking on in the video in front of you, and they can walk you through fixing that. And that's already a product we call Microsoft Dynamics Remote Assist. And another product that we have is Microsoft Guides, where someone needs to do some work and they may not be as familiar with whatever it is they're doing, and the HoloLens can guide you through what you need to do. It can like highlight a tool on the table and say, pick up that tool. Then it can highlight a piece of equipment that you need to use the tool with and say, go here and do this. And that's sort of walking folks through things in the real world. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying computing is going to become much more intuitive, because there's no manual to read. By the HoloLens, there's no piece of paper in the box saying, read this first and understand how to use it. But more importantly, we don't need manuals for anything anymore. I could open the hood of my car as someone who doesn't know how to change oil, and someday in the future, the HoloLens is just going to walk me through how to change the oil in my car. I think those applications of technology are particularly compelling and interesting, and I'm really excited in my mind to see what the local ideas around that sort of technology can be. And another example of this is the power of the cloud, where we're using the power of the cloud is in graphics compute. The HoloLens, this thing is a really, really amazing device. I love it, but this thing is about as powerful as a cell phone in terms of the graphics it can do. But when you bring in the power of the cloud, all of a sudden I can go from this picture here, which is a kind of blocky engine. I mean, you can tell it's an engine, but if you're trying to figure out how to fix an engine, this picture on the right-hand side is not going to make it very easy for you to do. Whereas the picture on the left-hand side, you can see things in a lot more fidelity. That is something that someone who needs to fix an engine needs to be able to see. And so we have technology called Azure Remote Rendering, which uses graphics cards in the cloud to enhance the graphics capabilities of the HoloLens and do what my colleague Ian likes to describe as rendering the unrenderable. I think that's a pretty incredible opportunity to make it possible for folks to really do things with the HoloLens. So there's a lot of incredible stuff that we're going to be doing, and some of this stuff is being done here in Lagos. So as Kendra said, if you find this interesting, see me after class, or see Kendra actually. I'll drop her mobile number next. Anyway, that is all I had in terms of slides and stuff. What I really wanted to do was thank everyone for taking time to join this boot camp, because I mean it. I really am looking forward to seeing an ecosystem of mixed reality engineers grow and thrive here in Lagos, so that I can actually have people, when I'm doing a hackathon, it's like we're filling the building. That's my dream. One day we're going to have like 100 people working on mixed reality together and really set the stage for the next phase of computing and figure out how we can leverage the power of that next phase of computing here on this continent, and how it can benefit us and help us leapfrog the rest of the world across the continent. So with that, if we have time for questions, I haven't been paying attention. I know I was supposed to talk for 30 minutes, maybe I'm a little over, but if we have time for questions, I'm happy to take that. Otherwise, again, just bug Kendra and she'll always route questions to me.
I think that, thank you so much, Hoop. I think that what we're going to do, and Israel, keep me honest on this, we need to book an AMA session with Hoop to have some more conversations around what is possible with MR, because I know a lot of people in the community have asked that question. And I feel like you can have like 5 different sessions and just touch on many different applications and never need to repeat yourself. MR is that wide. But this is amazing. Thank you, Hoop. I wish this was happening after Ignite, so we could show a bit more cool things, but you guys look out for the Ignite announce. There's something really cool coming up that I feel it's very exciting. Next up, we have Ruth Ferland joining us. I think she's on the call. Yes, she is. Hi, Ruth.
Yes, are you on the call? Just let me know once I'm on.
You are on. So Ruth is everybody says Ruth. She does amazing things for the community. She's based in East Africa and she covers that area, but she's also super kind and generous enough to reach out to the West African students and developers, and is just in charge. So you've heard about things that we're doing with mixed reality, and the beautiful thing about mixed reality is that you can apply that technology in a lot of different ways and different aspects, like Hoop showed. So Ruth is going to be talking about the other kind of events that we run on the continent, and that you will probably be interested in, and you should probably be getting on that train as well, Ruth.
Awesome. Well, I have multiple screens on here, so you might see me looking this way and this way. So I'm trying to position my, your face and the camera right where everything is, so that I'm looking straight. Thank you so much for having me here and for inviting me. I do have a PowerPoint presentation that I wanted to share that goes over what we do for the student and community engagements for the ADC. But first off, I wanna let me just share my. I don't have cool videos to share, so I'm kind of boring like that, I guess. But I am super crazy, especially in person. So if you ever get to meet me in person, I'm super energetic. This is even like umped up 10 times. You think I'm energetic now, but wait until you see me in person, because I can get super insane. So let me know if you see this. Yeah? Can you, I'm sharing? Cool. All right, so this is, first, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself so that some of you have heard of, either my name or my voice, because I'm always sharing some things, especially now with the student ambassadors there in Nigeria. But my name's Ruth Ferland. I lead the student and community engagements for the ADC. What that means is I pretty much create a lot of the programs. I'm the creator of a lot of the programs for the students. So things like the Game of Learners, we created that from scratch and put it all together. And now you get to see it. And this year, Nigeria is actually participating. I am based in Nairobi, Kenya. And this picture was just actually taken over the weekend. We stayed at the Giraffe Manor, awesome place if you get to ever visit. And you get to feed a giraffe during, they eat with you during breakfast. So I wanted to share that with you. I am a mother of two, a wife of 22 years. This is my family, and we all live here in Nairobi, Kenya. I am super passionate about training, upskilling, whatever you call it, continuous learning. That is why I am in this position. Okay, so now enough about me. Let's go to, how come I can't go to the next page? Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. It's not allowing me. Okay, going on to our presentation. So just giving you we have a very, very aggressive set of activities for our student engagements. And because recognizing that it takes a long time to really engage with students, if we go through schools, we go through universities, because there's always agreements that you have to sign, and bureaucracy, right? So because of that, and recognizing that, what we did was we engaged in this two-pronged approach to engage to work with the students directly. So one is through the student ambassadors. So through you guys that are student ambassadors, this is our grassroots approach, where we work with you to then work with the rest of the students. And a lot of our programs that are tied to this is, well, the Game of Learners, and as you know, it's a growing program. We are launching season 2, yay, next week on Monday, and I've seen some of the names that are super familiar here. Olumide is one of them that is participating at season 2 for Game of Learners, because we have, I believe, 6 teams coming from Nigeria and 6 teams coming from Kenya. And what the Game of Learners is about is it's a sports-like league for developers. So we recognize that, you got to make it fun if you want to engage the students. So we made it like a sport, and the seasons are like it's a 5-week hackathon. So it's a competition. And then off seasons, we have clinics. So no different than, like, if you're in a sport team, and you would have clinics to refine your craft, right? So what we're also putting in place is our clinics that we have fundamentals that will go semi-annually, and it's a 3-month session. We go through programming, hands-on with you. We have the projects clinics where we teach you a particular language, for example, through a project, through the journey of a project, and that's slated for the June-July timeframe. And we also try to do and some of you were able to participate last year in December, the summit, the student summit that we launched, and that's going to be an annual event. It's a 3-day event that recaps everything that we basically have done throughout the year. So, watch out for that at the end of this year. Other things that we also do, and it's just a matter of you guys reaching out to us, is we put aside budget to really support the student ambassadors. So when you put together events, whether it's for your school in the name of the student ambassadors, we usually support you through swag, speakers, those types of things. So all you have to do is really, reach out, ping me, ping even Kendra, and she will let me know, and we can talk. So that's this direct to student type of engagement, so that we can go directly to the students regardless of what school they come from. The other part that we do is also the university engagements themselves, and this is a lot more lengthy because it requires, the Ministry of Education to be in play, and then it goes all through the BC, and to get the signatures. But this is in collaboration with other organizations within Microsoft, and what we're doing, especially in coming up in April, is we're launching mentorship, an 8-month mentorship, where we, for each month, we would have a meetup, and it's set up with speakers and breakout sessions and so forth. So it's a pretty it's a pretty planned out events each month for 8 months, April through November, and other things that we also line up with universities are our Microsoft recruiting team. So in Microsoft, there are 2 camps of recruiting. There's the university recruiting, or there's the industry recruiting. The university recruiting are usually recruiting folks that are in their 3rd or 4th year, penultimate year of your university years, or your last year. And they fill positions like positions for internship at Microsoft, because you would have to be, you would still have to be a student to be an intern, so you can't be graduating already to be an intern at Microsoft. And then the other one is a full-time employment at Microsoft for an entry-level role. So university recruiting goes into your universities and recruit from there. So what we try to do is align them to your university, so that there's opportunity for you to come into ADC. For the industry recruiting, that is, let's say you've already graduated like a year, already, or more than a year. Then what would happen is you would get into industry recruiting, and we have a pipeline for that as well. So, it's no worries. If your goal is to come to ADC, you'll end up here someday, somehow. And whether it's through university recruiting or to industry recruiting, we've got plans for you, and we've got we try to figure it out so that we can catch you in every facet of your journey. The other part that we also do with the universities, and we try to really do this, and it takes a lot of time, is curriculum review. So we do recognize that not all universities are the same. So if you graduate with computer science from one university, it may not hold as much water as or credibility as like another university because of the curriculum. So what we try to do is provide a committee that will review the curriculum to make sure that the students that come out of these universities can actually fill in positions, entry-level positions at ADC. So, and I don't have access to the Q&A at the moment, so I'm gonna leave it to Kendra to ask me, you know, what if there are any questions. So now I'm going to go a little bit more into the details of Game of Learners, because it's the one coming up next week. I went over it already, a little bit of it. This is just a bunch of words, and I know it's kind of hard to listen and read at the same time, but this is just really going over what Game of Learners is about. So I'm going to skip this because I did that a little bit earlier already. And I'm going to focus a little bit of how the Game of Learners Season 2 is set up. So as I had mentioned a little bit earlier, there are 6 teams there are 12 teams in total, and there are 6 teams in Nigeria and 6 teams in Kenya. And in all of my programs, I try to enforce 50-50. It's like a rule, 50-50 gender distribution. And so so that when I see it, there should be 50 men, 50% women, 50% men in the count in our program. So we have a total of 60 students participating this year for Season 2. We kick off in the game kicks off next week. The way it's set up is we have the game, and so the season is also documented. So for those of you that haven't seen Season 1, you can actually look it up on hashtag Game of Learners, ADC Game of Learners, and you will be able to pull up all the episodes for Season 1 on YouTube. So, and you can binge watch it. What we do is we kick off the game, and the game is this: it's all virtual. We bring in new students into each team, and the leads, who are the student ambassadors. So the way the process works is that back in January, we pre-selected the leads, the student ambassadors, and then in February we then work with the leads to define their teams, and we really try, and the whole purpose of this is to provide leadership skills and really the training that leads to how to form a team, build a team, and really create a high-performing team. We do training with the leads on all these aspects. It's building the team and so forth, and then they get to choose who they want in the team. The caveat is they have to pick 2 men and 2 women as learners. And so they build their team, and we kick off next week. So that all the teams are selected and identified, and next week we will be kicking off. They start defining their projects, and they will have to submit a recording, because everything is documented, so we can provide a show. And each week they have to submit a submission. It's done in an agile way. Like we try to teach them Scrum so that you actually do it in sprints. And the final submission, which would be, the 5th week, would be the actual project. So there's only one project that gets graded by the team. It's not like multiple projects for the entire time. There's only one project, but they have to submit for every sprint, MVP, minimal viable product. So we try to give the folks that are participating in this an experience of how it's like to be in a development team. And then in the end, we select a winner, and we have an award ceremony, and we are going to announce the winner during our open day. We're also doing an open day on the 26th of April. So that's the details about the game itself. I'm going to skip this because this is our schedule. But part of, like I had mentioned, part of Game of Learners is not just a game, but we're also producing a show because but it's more of a documentary kind of show. And on the 4th week after, we kick off the game, we start releasing. So on 23rd of March, when we will start releasing episode 1. And it's a total of 7 episodes, including the encore, all the way to the end. So if you want to see how that all works out, I encourage you to go watch season 1 and see, binge watch it, whatever. It's only about 10-15 minutes per episode, so really easy. It's not like you're watching a 30-minute show each time. Now this is, I promise, is the last slide. Whew, yeah, death by slides. The GOL clinics is what we call our off-season activities, and it's to really refine your craft. And the idea is to really focus on your development chops, right? Your fundamentals, your programming, and so forth. This is the topics for the or the curriculum, basically, for the fundamentals clinic that we're piloting now. The first session will come in sometime in April. We'll announce it, and it will go for about 3 months. We're planning to do this. If you're looking at the seasons of U.S. seasons, it's spring, April to June, and in the fall, September to November. What happens here? This is all virtual, and it's set up like an after-school program kind of thing, or maybe before-school program, because sometimes we're trying to play which one's the better time for folks to come in, either before they go to classes or after their classes in the day. So it's set up as a supplemental supplemental program where you can have an experience to do coding hands-on and be able to do projects together, and also develop a strong developer community within your peers. The other one that I talked about that we're still formulating is the projects clinics, and this is where we pick a particular language, like let's say we want to pick Python, right? And then we go through how to use Python into building a particular project. So we're still trying to define that. We're also trying to define another one that I haven't put in there that is related to more of a program manager. And as soon as it starts formulating, we'll start sending out information. So that is really the end of my slides. Yes, just to make sure I wasn't lying. But if you have any questions for me,
yes,
happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Ruth. That was a lot. That was great information. We have a lot of excitement around the programs, and we do have a couple of questions for you.
Awesome.
So the first question I have is, the GOL clinics, are they available for students in Nigeria, or is it purely East African?
Nope. Available anywhere. So what we're actually doing, we're piloting it right now in Kenya, just to see, you were playing around with times and availabilities and what their level of acceptance on the topics. But the idea is we actually spoke to Gafar about it and see if there are any volunteers from ADC, because the GOL clinics is all volunteer based. All of those owners that you saw, they're all from here, from they're either leads or they're software engineers here at ADC. So the content is really, the content is based on what we normally ask in the screening, the interviews coming in, you know, and the things that a lot of people trip up on. So that's where it all came about, and we are trying to figure out who would be volunteering from the Nigeria ADC to make it easier for the time, you know, because considering we have a 2-hour difference. But yes, it is going to be available in Nigeria.
Awesome. The other question is also related. It's about the university mentorship program. Is that also going to be available in Nigeria? That
we're still trying to figure out, because it is, so right now, to be candidly speaking, they're still trying, so Nigeria is still trying to hire my equivalent over there. It's very, very time consuming. So we can't promise that it's going to get kicked off in April. Like I had identified, it will be kicked off in April here in Kenya, but it's definitely something that we're pursuing also in Nigeria. I just don't know what the time frame is.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're right. It is very demanding and very time consuming, which is why we're grateful that you already do as much as you do to make sure that Nigeria is covered in the things that you do. Thank you so much for that. Do we have any other questions? Did I miss any question?
No, that's all for now.
Awesome. I thank you so much, Ruth. Thank you for making time. Thank you for always being amazing. And if we have more questions, guys, if you have more questions for Ruth, you can leave them in the chat. We'll make sure that she gets them and you get answered sometime before the end of the program. Thank you, Ruth. You can stick around if you want to be with us for the rest of the program. If not, thank you so much for showing up and for making time for this. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much. And I'm sticking around to just watch. I watch Hoops and I'm like, oh man, I gotta follow him. What?
Yeah, Hoop has that effect on people. It's crazy because you have that effect on people as well. So this has been great. Next up, guys, we have Aaron, who is always amazing and always present and available to share his knowledge. Aaron manages the Mixed Reality Students Ambassador Program for the region and all of Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And he's going to be joining us and talking to us about the program, how to apply if you haven't applied, how to grow, and how to kind of apply the things you learn here into your own personal career growth. Aaron?
Hello, and of course now I'm just realizing that I'm having technical difficulties and my camera is not working at all. Like I'm panicked here trying to get it working, so you may have me just on audio.
I love how technology fails when you need it.
Yeah. Although I have to echo, like this is a really hard 2 presentations to follow. I'm still like giddy with excitement over that, over Hoop's presentation. I literally, as someone who grew up a fan of science fiction, like I feel like I'm living in a science fiction, world right now, and it's just like so exciting to me. So thank you both, Ruth and Hoop, for those amazing presentations. I will try to share my screen if you can let me know whether you see it or not.
You see it?
Okay, great. So as you already mentioned, my name is Aaron Blum, and I am the Community Program Manager for the EMEA region of the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors Program. So EMEA stands for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Also, the program did get rebranded middle of last year. So previously, you may have heard of it mentioned previously as the Microsoft Student Partners. So now it is the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors Program, which is kind of a mouthful. But I think we want to have a real focus on Microsoft Learn as being one of the real pillars of this program. My region is the largest region in terms of the number of countries, and also we have over 1,000 members of the Student Ambassadors Program now in the EMEA region. So just amazing growth in the region, and it's wonderful to see the program growing in countries like Nigeria, where the student ambassador population just continues to grow and be incredibly active and wonderful. So our mission mirrors that of Microsoft, the corporation, which is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. So that is what we hope to further, through this program. In terms of our global community, it is truly a global program. We are on every continent except Antarctica, but this kind of gives a sense of all of the countries that we have at least one student ambassador in. By far, our largest population in a single country is in India, where we have almost half of the total population of the program is represented in India, so much so that we actually have 2 community program managers dedicated just to that country. But if you look at Europe and the Middle East and Africa, you'll see some pretty big numbers as well. So Nigeria, we're up over 100, looks like right about 120 active student ambassadors. Kenya, 86. Algeria is growing. There's 53 there, 30 in South Africa. So great growth in the region, and again, it's just really exciting for me to be a part of that and see all of the amazing things that are happening, like this boot camp. Overall, we have just over 4,000 ambassadors at over 1,200 universities in 95 countries. And that number of countries has definitely grown. I know when I last did this presentation, I believe it was 88. So we've gotten into 7 more countries than we were in less than a year ago. And right now, our population breakdown is we are about 34% female, 66% male. And that is a real priority for us to move that closer to, if not achieving, 50-50. We really see that as something that we want to strive for and work for. And it's something that I love engaging with current ambassadors on, ideas for how to make the program aware, make women in our region aware of the program and encourage them to apply. So that's something that each time I give this presentation, I really want to see that number closer to 50-50. So the program does have some requirements. First off, we do have a code of conduct. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but one of the things that I really want to call out is that this is a program that is welcoming to everyone. So that is regardless of age, ancestry, color, gender, identity, or expression, all of these things. This is a program that is welcoming to everyone. We want everyone to feel at home here. And we do have avenues for people to let us know if they, encounter any problems or any, type of harassment in the program, because that's something that we take very, very seriously. This is a place where everyone needs to feel comfortable and feel welcome. We do also have some requirements for student ambassadors once in the program. So after 30 days, we just ask that you have signed into our Teams tenant. We have a special Teams tenant just for student ambassadors, where all of the ambassadors can communicate with each other. Before your 60-day, we ask that you have at least started a Learn path on Microsoft Learn, and before 90 days, that you have attended an all-hands call. And then we do ask that you attend one of those all-hands calls at least every 3 months thereafter. And then before your 90 days, that you attend an extra credit club call, also one every 3 months thereafter. And then before your 120 days, that you have completed a Learn path on Microsoft Learn, which advances you to the Alpha milestone, and that you also continue to utilize Microsoft Learn and complete another learning path at least every 120 days. And then before your 1-year anniversary, our hope is that each ambassador will host an event and report that event to us. And then after we have had a chance to review that event and make sure that it meets kind of the basic guidelines that we have, then you would be advanced to beta milestone. And if the milestones sound a little bit strange and maybe perhaps backwards, it did to me too when I first joined the program. It always seemed to me like beta should come first, then alpha. but this is the way it is. So hope it's not too confusing. But after advancing to beta milestone, our hope also is that you will continue to host events on your campus and in your community, and do that at least once a year thereafter. And doing those things helps ambassadors remain in good standing in the program. So now I will just talk a little bit about the milestones and benefits of the program. So all students, when they join the program, when they're accepted into the ambassadors program, they start off as new ambassadors. That's kind of the term that we use. And all new ambassadors have access to Microsoft 365 and also access to our, as I said, our unique student ambassadors teams tenant to communicate there. After completing the first learning path, ambassadors are advanced to alpha. And at this point, you start receiving a $150 US monthly Azure credit, Visual Studio's enterprise subscription, LinkedIn Learning, which is relatively new benefit, and we're really excited about this. It's really a supplement to MS Learn, Microsoft Learn, in that a lot of the technical kind of material is on MS Learn, and some of the other stuff that we call either non-technical or you may hear referred to as soft skills is available on LinkedIn Learning. And we've actually gone through and picked different curriculums that we think will be, have helpful content. So one of those kind of curriculums is how to host an effective event and become a beta milestone ambassador. And we even have a curriculum for folks that are preparing to graduate and are going to be moving into, the professional kind of work environment, and some skills that will help you be successful there. So LinkedIn Learning is definitely, one of the benefits that we're really excited about. We also do provide an exam voucher for one of the Microsoft Technical Certification exams, and this voucher covers the entire cost of that exam. So that's something that we're excited about as well. And currently, it is available to do remotely. They have an exams from home program as well, because many of us are still kind of at home, due to the pandemic, although we are hoping that changes soon and we can all get back out into kind of the world and doing what we do in person. And then lastly, at Alpha Milestone, we provide a domain name for you through name.com, which we hope folks have been enjoying. After hosting your first event and being advanced to beta milestone, you receive all of the benefits, of course, that Alpha Milestone students do. We also send out a special swag box to everyone who reaches beta milestone. So I'm not going to go through everything in the swag box, but it's something that others have given us positive feedback on. So we hope everyone is enjoying that. And then at this point, we also are able to start offering event support for future events or additional events that you hold. And I apologize in advance. There's a baby in the household who is just waking up, and he is not so happy to be waking up. So apologies for that. We do offer to beta milestone ambassadors event support. And this varies from country to country, but for example, in Nigeria, we are able to offer both catering support. Oops, hang on one sec. We're able to offer event support in the form of catering, and then also through approved event expense reimbursement. So these are things that we hope allow student ambassadors to host bigger and more successful events and attract more people in their communities to attend these events. So that's something that is great that we're able to offer. Unfortunately, right now, because Microsoft Corporation is still under guidelines to host everything virtually, those event benefits are not really accessible. But again, our hope is that that changes by this summer and we are able to start offering those again. Additionally, at the beta milestone, there are mentorship opportunities available, as well as access to the ambassador summits. And then I'll talk a little bit about the Gold Student Ambassadors. So there are a couple on this call. And Gold Student Ambassadors are selected through a review process a couple of times each year. That review process is conducted by myself as well as the other community program managers, as well as our program director. And it really, we look for the ambassadors that are the most engaged, those that are taking part in teams conversations and helping other ambassadors, and also, ambassadors that are really active in their communities, hosting impactful events and reporting those to us. So Gold ambassadors receive some really great benefits, most involving, their opportunities through program leadership, and also the ability to participate in some pilot programs, receive direct mentorship from Microsoft Most Valuable Professionals, and then also possibly be nominated for the MVP program when they are preparing to leave their university studies and head into the professional world. I want to talk a little bit about leagues. Leagues are pretty new in the ambassadors program, give or take, 6 months. And leagues are diverse communities. So, of course, everyone in the ambassadors program is a technology enthusiast, but there are lots of different areas to be passionate about. And leagues offer an ability for student ambassadors to engage in topics that they're passionate about and really be connected with other student ambassadors that share those same passions. We have technical leagues and we have social impact leagues. So in the technical league side, AI and machine learning, which of course we had that brilliant presentation on this morning. Data and analytics, emerging technologies, Internet of Things, mobile and web dev, and low-code development. And then on the social impact side, we have digital accessibility, education, green tech, and healthcare. Each of the community program managers also focuses on one tech league and one social impact league. So the ones that I am kind of a facilitator for are mobile and web dev and green tech. Now, that does not mean I am a subject matter expert in those, unfortunately. I am mostly there just to help organize meetings and league calls, things of that nature, but they're fascinating to me as well. So even if I can't answer questions, just those that are in there know that I'm enjoying the content along with them. Student ambassadors can join up to 2 leagues, one a technical and one social impact league. And it is possible to switch leagues once you've joined, although we do ask that ambassadors wait 3 months before moving to a new league. And that's just to prevent folks from kind of jumping around and not really, getting, engaged in any of the leagues. So I'm not going to read all of these, but the league experience includes pursuing learning paths, utilizing workshop content, and also developing workshop content, I should say, and collaborating on projects. That's one of the things that we really are hoping the leagues are doing, and that we continue to see more of, is fostering collaborations between student ambassadors, especially ambassadors in different countries. I think that's perhaps the greatest benefit of the program, is the ability to network and collaborate with ambassadors all around the world and gain insight that you might not be able to get from working just with people in your own country or your own region. So people have different thoughts about things, perhaps based on where they are in the world, and that's a really great opportunity to be able to take advantage of. That's my presentation. It's not the longest presentation in the world, but I hope it's been informative. And if you do have any questions, I of course will be happy to do my very best to answer them.
I have a question, Aaron.
Yes.
I'm just curious about, I find the leagues very fascinating. I'm curious about the workshop content for the leagues. Is that sitting on MS Learn, or does that live somewhere else?
That's a good question. I mean, I think right now it is, our hope is that, workshop material will be come available on MS Learn and be available, to folks even outside of the leagues and perhaps even, outside of the program. I think right now it is still kind of, we're figuring that out, how to get the workshop content kind of reviewed and, get sign off on that before making it available to a wider audience. But I know that is something that, is part of the plan.
Okay, that's something I'll be
One other thing, sorry, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
The other thing I'm just realizing that wasn't in this presentation, but should have been, is applying for the Student Ambassador Program. So applications are open all year. You can apply anytime. And then we have onboarding classes, or cohorts, we call them, 4 times a year, so every 3 months. So it's just a rolling application process. You can go to studentambassadors.microsoft.com. There's a big apply button. And yeah, it's exciting to see all of the applications that come in. 4 times a year, I spend an entire month reviewing applications, so it is an arduous process, but also really, really enjoyable for me. So I encourage everyone who's interested to apply.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the Student Ambassador Program is such a great way to both grow your technical skill, yes, but also grow yourself as a developer. I've had a number of people that I know went from like being a student partner to being an MVP to being a Microsoft staff. We have one of them working in Mixed Reality right now, Tanisha Dara. And if you know Dara Ladapo, he's very active in the community. He also used to be a Microsoft student partner back when it was still Microsoft student partners. So it's a great way to get connected to other people that do what you do, to get connected to get access, to get content, to just broaden your horizons about what's possible with technology. And yeah, I think that people should apply, just apply, and attend the programs that are hosted, because they're always amazing, like this one.
Yeah, and we have just such amazing student ambassadors.
Is there any
in this
question
region.
for Aaron before we move on?
No, so no questions.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. And if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
Sure. So I think the question, I can hear me.
Hi, Mohammed.
Yeah, so the question here is for Hope, and he's not here. I mean, someone was asking him how you can have to get in touch with him.
Sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing. Was that a question for me, or?
Yeah, I'm having trouble with the audio as well.
Someone was asking how she can get in touch with Hope. Someone just said me. I don't know who that.
With Hoop. That's okay. If they have a question for Hoop, they can just ask the question, and I'll be happy to pass it along. If they just want to find out more about the Mixed Reality program in general, then I guess they can do me an email. Japhlet and Israel know how to reach me, I think, better than anybody else. And they should just get in touch with them. All right, I think we can continue. If you have no question for Aaron, if there are more questions for Aaron, you can leave them in the chat, and we'll make sure that he gets them and you get an answer to your question. Thank you so much, Aaron, for making time and for sharing with us the wonderful presentation.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
It's our pleasure. So we are gonna move right ahead to kind of like what to expect. So now you've heard about the Student Ambassador Program, you've heard about Mixed Reality, you've heard about the other programs that we have on the continent. But next up, we're going to talk about the program that you're currently a part of, which is the bootcamp. And Japhlet is going to be just sharing what to expect over the next 2 weeks, what the agenda is going to be, what the workshops are going to be, and how to kind of position your mind so that you are ready to gain the most that you can from this session and from this bootcamp going forward. Great, Japhlet, take it away.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Ken. Can you all see my slide just to be sure, please?
Yeah, we can see your slide.
Okay, great. So just a few seconds, please. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Nice joining us here for this event. This is the opening ceremony for this bootcamp. I'm Japhlet Nwamu. I'm a good Microsoft Student Ambassador in Nigeria. I joined the Student Ambassador Program in 2019 September. What I do is power platform-based scaling and artificial intelligence, and the goal is to build relevant and vibrant tech communities in Africa. I'll start off with Microsoft's mission, although Aaron has talked a little bit about this. And Microsoft's mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. The reason why I'm reiterating this is because everything we do as student ambassadors actually resonates this mission. From our events to all other activities, we make sure that we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. But first, who are student ambassadors? Now, student ambassadors are on-campus ambassadors. What we do in our different universities is to be able to build solutions, tech solutions, whether they already have knowledge about tech, or they are just citizen developers, those who have no idea about tech. During our journey as student ambassadors, we have an amazing community that gives us the opportunity to make a difference, to lead others, to learn, and as well as we're learning, we also get the opportunity to share and empower others. But let's focus on the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Program in Nigeria. It's an amazing community of over 120 active students who are impacting their communities. On our Twitter handle, we currently have 820 followers. We have a meetup community where we've hosted over tons of events and over 1,300 members on that meetup community. But generally, since March 2020, we've hosted 60 events, not March 2021. Since March 2020, we've hosted over 16 events. And in all of these events, we've impacted thousands of people all over the world and helped them to be able to build solutions with technology. But how do we do all of this? How are we able to impact tons of people to build solutions to its mission? Now, we've hosted tons of events, but we have hosted and will be hosting in the coming months. Back in April, we hosted the Microsoft Emerging Cup Junior Mentorship Program, which empowered over 13 students from 8 states in Nigeria. These students came together to build tech solutions with AI, and not only building tech solutions, they also had the opportunity to submit their project for Emerging Corp Junior. Apart from this, we've also have an Azure AI series where we invite Azure AI MVPs to come talk about different technologies, AI technologies, for example, computer vision, a little bit of robotics, and a few others, conversational AI. So what they do is they help put us through on how to build AI solutions using all of these tools. Currently, we have a mixed reality AMA session, which is hosted by where we have members of the mixed reality team in Nigeria come to talk on different topics related to mixed reality. Currently, we also have starting soon Game of Learners, which Ruth talked about, and then this Mixed Reality Bootcamp, which we are kicking off today. And in June, we'll be having 30 days of Power Platform program where students all over the world and all over Nigeria get to build solutions making use of Microsoft's local development platform, Power Platform. Our goal as student ambassadors is to empower everyone. Now, we believe that everyone is a superhero, but we don't just believe that everyone is, we believe that everyone can be a tech superhero, whether they know much about code, whether they don't write code, whether they are beginners, whether they have been programming for months or years. We believe that everybody can be a tech superhero. Now let's talk about the Mixed Reality Bootcamp and how it's going to run. Planning this bootcamp started back in November 2020. We had to put lots of things together, lots of efforts to make this a reality. Special thanks to all 15 members of the organizing team, both the technical team and the non-technical team, who made this possible. This bootcamp is going to run for 15 days. This is day 1, Thursday, 25th February, and we're having our opening ceremony. But for day 2, which is tomorrow, we're going to be having 2 sessions, one that will run us through Microsoft HoloLens and how to build mixed reality solutions making use of the Mixed Reality Toolkit. And by 6 p.m. West African time, GMT +1, we're going to be having a session that will be running us through building mixed reality solutions with Unity. Now for day 3, we're going to group different participants into teams, and then these participants get to work on, pick a project, and then they get to talk about this project, basically running through how they can bring this project to life with mixed reality. And from days 15 to 14, from day 5 to 4, they are going to build these solutions. They are going to start bringing them to life, making use of these technologies, that they have been put through. During this period, they are going to have Microsoft employees from the mixed reality team who are going to more of guide them through all of this. And during this, we ensure that they are solving real life problems. They are solving key issues that are faced by humans all over the world. And for day 15, we'll have presentations where we get to see the amazing solutions these students have built during this period of time and get to announce the winners of this bootcamp. All through for days 2, all of the sessions that will be hosted in day 2, you are going to watch them live on Microsoft Learn. And for day 15, you get to watch the presentation of projects and the announcement of winners. So this is just a brief timeline on what we have planned for the Mixed Reality Bootcamp. Now we have an amazing community, like I mentioned earlier. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador community on Twitter using the @MLS in Nigeria, or you could reach out to us on LinkedIn. You could either type Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors Nigeria in the search box, or if you are able to make use of this link to learn more about us. So that's just a short session. Thank you.
Thank you, Japhlet. If you have questions about the bootcamp, what to expect, how to kind of position yourself for the next 2 weeks so that you can learn and get the most impact from this would be the time to ask them. I'm really excited about this bootcamp and what's possible, and looking forward to the amazing things that you build, because as Microsoft engineers, the best we can do is make tools. That's all we do, right? But when those tools actually start to shine is when developers and when the community takes them and starts to do creative and amazing things to them with them that are applicable in real life, right? That are applicable to problems that are existing around you in your community and in Nigeria as a whole. And I'm really excited. I can't wait for the day when you guys are showing off at the end of the program, you're showing off the things that you've built over the next 2 weeks. Japhlet, do we have any other presentation on the bootcamp?
Nope, these are all the sessions.
Okay. All right, fantastic. So before we wrap up, I just wanted to do kind of some housekeeping. Over the next 2 weeks, they're going to have workshops, like Jeff talked about. There's the workshop on Unity and MRTK and the HoloLens emulator tomorrow. You're going to be talking to experts. My advice, I guess, to you is to bring your your authentic self to the sessions. Come with an open mind, come willing to learn, be present, ask questions, because the experts are here to transfer knowledge, and it's best to kind of use them for everything they've got. And the same thing applies to when you're paired up in teams, bringing your best self, there's no everybody has value that they can bring regardless of how technical you are. I'm a program manager in an engineering team. I don't need to write code, but I am still being valuable to my team. So you have to just look for ways to bring your own value to the team that you're in, work together. And when you're paired up with mentors, the thing that we're going to ask of you is that you're going to have one mentorship session every week. In advance and in preparation for the mentorship session, we ask that you think back to your week and the thing that you're building, and kind of write down what you want to get out of your mentorship session. What are the topics you want to discuss? What are the questions you have? What are the pain points that you're facing? And send them across before your mentorship session so we can share with your mentor and they can prep, so that the mentorship session is valuable to both of you and to both parties at the end of the day. So yeah, that's basically it. Be present, be ready to learn, ready to work, be creative and innovative. And I look forward to seeing how these 2 weeks pan out and the things that you come up with at the end of the program. And with that, I think that we have come to the end of this kickoff event. Except anybody has anything else to add? Mohammed, Israel, Japhlet?
No, I do not have anything to add at the moment. I'll leave it to you to round up.
Okay.
Yeah, I
fantastic.
think everything, Kendra. We'll pass any other information through the Teams channel. So that will be our mode of communication with you guys apart from this meeting. So thank you very much. Let's have fun doing this. And yeah, thank you so much, Kendra, for this. We are going to be seeing a lot of Kendra. I think she'll be taking us on one of the workshops. So that is pretty amazing. So yeah, enjoy.
Amazing. Like Israel said, let's have fun together. This is going to be fun. And I will see you all tomorrow. I think Israel is going to be on the Teams channel telling you what you need, like software-wise, in preparation for the session tomorrow. But either way, the sessions are all going to be recorded. So even if you can't follow the workshop, if you don't have like the installed software in time, don't worry about it. You can always go back to the videos and retrace your steps and send in your questions later. So don't you worry about that. Thank you, Ruth, Aaron, Hoop, for joining us. Thank you for your sessions. They were amazing. Yeah, let's have fun. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.